Hi there, my name is Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitech in Auckland, New Zealand, and welcome to my Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now this is a video covering the second stage of repairs on an old XT500, a Yamaha XT500 back from the mid-80s I think it was. The fuel tank had essentially corroded around the front mounts, and this is the tank. And we did some repairs. Now obviously I put some paint on there, so did a bit of welding on there, cut out the old rusty bits and welded some new pieces in, and then put the mounts back on. And all that's in episode 1, and I'm sure quite a few of you have already seen that. The second part of the repair is to use this Kreem product. Now this is a fuel tank liner, and it's got 3 stages. There's a rust remover and a tank prep, and then you've got the actual liner itself. Now cards on the table, I've never used this stuff, and I've asked around quite a few people if they'd heard of it, and they said yes, we've used it and it's very, very good. Unfortunately this fuel tank was leaking really badly, and because it was leaking around the front mounts, I wasn't prepared to take the risk of just relying on the tank liner to fix the leak forever. These XT500s have a lot of vibrations running through the frame. They're an old engine, single cylinder, 4-stroke, bit of a thumper we call them. And obviously if the fuel tank is weakened around those front mounts, then of course they're going to be stressed, and it's probably going to cause the liner to fracture, and then the tank's going to leak again. So that's why we did the welding job first, just to replace the metal. The tank has been checked. I think on the last video, the last thing we did was to put some water in the fuel tank, to check for any leaks, and it passed, which was fantastic. Which means now the liner isn't trying to stop leaks, it's just basically there as a preventative for future corrosion, and therefore there shouldn't be any leaks anymore. Not for a long time anyway, hopefully. That's the plan. So what I've done this morning is I checked the tank again, just one final check with some water, did that off camera. And again, it is watertight, quite happy with that. And then I used a heat gun to dry out the inside of the fuel tank, because the last thing you want is any kind of moisture in there when you start this process. Now, obviously, on the fuel tank, there is the holes which basically the fuel tap, the fuel output, connects to. And you may have breathers and all sorts on your fuel tank. That's going to need to be blocked up. So that's going to be my first job, is to make a little steel plate and a gasket so I can bolt it over that hole and seal it up so that when I apply the liner, it's not all going to leak out all over the floor and get wasted. So I'm going to make one of those. No need to put that to camera. I'm pretty sure you're quite capable of making up little plates and bits and pieces in your workshop at home. So I'll get that done, and then we'll crack open the instructions and we'll go through what's needed. Okay, well you guys could always pop off and have a nice cup of tea, just like me, and I'll see you later on. Cheers. Okay, well, there you go, all plugged up, ready to rock. Not a bad job, I reckon. Okay, fingers crossed no leaks from there. So that's that bit done. It's nice and dry inside. So what we need to do is work out what the hell we're going to do with this stuff. Right, let's get the packaging taken off. Okay, so what have we got? Well, oh, look at that. How to plug up your fuel output. That's exactly what we've just done. Okay, so when you get this stuff, you're going to get your own instructions. So I'm not going to read every single word on here. I'm just going to go straight to the steps, and we'll go through those one by one, and hopefully this thing's going to work. So it says here, step 1, drain the fuel from your tank into an approved container, and then remove the tank from the vehicle. Remove any valves and petcocks and so on. Seal all the openings securely so that liquid will not drain out. Small openings can be capped with rubber stoppers, threaded pipe bungs, corks or wood dowels, whatever you prefer. Large openings can be capped with a metal or wood plate and a handmade gasket. Well, we've done all that. Step 2, fill the tank about quarter full with warm water and add a teaspoonful of strong dish soap. I imagine washing machine soap powder will be fine. If the tank is badly rusted or has rust flakes, well this one definitely has, add a handful of nuts and bolts to help loosen the rust. Shake the tank until all rust has been loosened. Right, step 2, here we go. Oakley dokley. Okay, so we've got mixed up here some warm water and some washing machine powder. I'll chuck that in there. A couple of litres probably should be enough. Now, it says a handful of nuts and bolts, but to be perfectly honest, I'm pretty tempted to count them because I don't want any to be wedged in the fuel tank and not come out. 1, 2, 18, 19. Let's round it off to 20. Right, 20 nuts and bolts. Go on. Man, I've never put this kind of stuff in a fuel tank before, but anyway. There we go. It's like ingredients, isn't it? And I suppose you should put the cap back on. Right. Well, it's time to give it a shake, I suppose. Right, well, probably time for you to have another cup of tea, because this is going to take bloody ages. Well, seriously, that's about half an hour doing that, and I'm getting fed up with it. So let's drain it out and see how much more rust we'll get out of this thing. Because if you saw the first video, there was a shit ton of rust came out of it to start off with. Not sure. A bit in there, isn't it? Come on, bolt, fall out. One more to go. There you go. Cool. Right, I'll go and drain this off outside. I'll show you what I find. Back in a second. Well, after half an hour's hard shaking, I'm actually quite disappointed. Very little rust has come out, but I suppose it's probably not a bad thing, because the more rust that comes out, the less metal there's left of that fuel tank. So, okay, let's move on to the next stage, I reckon. Okay, so we've done step 1, done step 2, and step 3, drain off the soapy solution and rinse the tank with clean water to remove all the soap, oil and loose rust particles. Okay, well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to remove that bung that we put on over the fuel tap and stick the hose pipe in it and just swill it all out and let it all run out through the bottom. Okay, so I've replaced again the plug on the bottom of the tank after we've given it a really good swill out. There's definitely no soapy water left in this fuel tank. It is still wet, but I don't think that matters too much because step 4. Pour Kreem Tank Prep A, that's that one, into the tank and add 2.5 gallons of warm water. I suppose they're assuming they know how big the fuel tank is. Tank Prep A works best when the tank is completely full and in contact with all metal surfaces, so basically you've got to fill the whole tank up with warm water. If this is not possible, you should turn the tank to different positions so that the solution has extended contact with all metal surfaces. Allow the tank to vent. Do not allow pressure to build up. Leave Tank Prep A in the tank until all rust is dissolved and the metal is etched to a dull grey finish. The time required will depend on the amount of rust in the tank. New tanks can be etched in about 4 hours. Rusty tanks will take longer. We suggest overnight. Obviously the water's not going to stay warm for very long, but I don't think that matters too much. Now, there's got to be some safety precautions on this kind of stuff, so make sure you read that before you start. Man, it doesn't look like there's any PPE stuff there. It just says don't drink it. Huh. Okay, well, from me to you, I would suggest gloves and infamous eye protection. And I would suggest not to drink it too, by the sounds of it. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, so I've positioned the fuel tank where the filler cap is basically the highest point, so we can fill the whole thing full of liquid. So we've got tank prep A going in. We've got to pull that all the way in first. In that goes. It's basically phosphoric acid, I'm told. What's it say on here? I think it just contains phosphoric acid if swallowed. So if contact with skin, eyes and mucous membranes, avoid. In case of contact, flush cool water for eyes, get medical attention. Something nasty stuff. Okay, right, time for the hot water. Okay, well, it's almost full, so I'm just going to get some cold water and just top it up, because it did say warm water anyway. So, that's pretty full. And we'll stick the cap on. It has got a vent on it, so it's not going to pressurise. So we'll stick that on there, and I think we should give it a bit of a swivel round, bit of a shake. Nothing too vigorous, but just need to mix things up a little bit. Cool. Okay, well, I think we're about there. That's better. Well, that was relatively simple, wasn't it? Okay, get rid of those. So, we suggest overnight. Well, that was a very, very rusty fuel tank, so we'll have to leave this till tomorrow, I reckon. Now we've sort of done steps 1 to 4, and steps 5, 7 and 8 will be tomorrow morning by the looks of it. Okay, it does say here heavy rust deposits. Tank prep A removes rust through a chemical process which slowly neutralizes as rust is removed. In cases where the rust is so heavy that the solution becomes neutralized before the rust is entirely removed, a second treatment of tank prep A is required to fully remove the rust and properly etch the metal surface. So if you're planning to do this and your fuel tank is really rusty and you think there's a chance that it might need 2 goes, then you're going to need to buy 2 of these kits, unfortunately. Or get your hands on some more, what was it, phosphoric acid. If you get some more of that, then, well, that's all you need really, isn't it? Okay, well, that's it. See you in a few hours. Tomorrow, in fact. See you later. Morning, crew. I'm back. It's, golly, Wednesday morning. Really early. Because I need to get this tank sorted out. What was it? Phosphoric acid? Can't remember. Yes, I was right. It contains phosphoric acid. Oh, it's too early for me. Right. So the plan now is that phosphoric acid's been in the fuel tank since Sunday morning. So that's 3 days. So I did that because it was pretty rusty in there. Now it says that once you've drained it off, if it's still rusty, you can then repeat the process. Yeah, where were we? Right. So pour out, this is tank prep A that's currently in the fuel tank, that's the phosphoric acid. Pour out the tank prep A solution and save an appropriate container as it can be used for a second application. From the readings that I've done, this phosphoric acid, as it reacts with the rust, its strength deteriorates. So it's highly likely if you've had a really, really rusty tank, that the phosphoric acid will have fully neutralized and it won't really be any good. I did watch a video the other day actually on a guy that used vinegar on some old tools, but he left the rusty old tools in the vinegar for 18 months, and I don't have that long. Anyway. Flush the tank. Once we've drained it out, flush the tank with clean water until the rinse water no longer foams and all the traces of the tank A are removed. So that's what we need to do next. So I'm going to pop off and go and do that, and then we can put in tank prep B, which is the neutralizer. Right, I'll see you in a minute. Well, I thought before I go outside, I may as well just show you what's on the inside of the tank. And I put this little hose, this breather pipe on there, because as it was reacting at the start, there was obviously fluid. It was warming up even hotter, and there was fluid bubbling out at the top of the tank. I didn't want phosphoric acid to be running down the outside of the paintwork. Even though the paintwork's not the greatest in the world, there's no point in letting it damaged. So let's see what we've got inside. Well, that looks a very nice cocktail, but if you look beyond the rust, it actually looks like under the water. First of all, the water's really clear, and the tank itself doesn't look too bad. Right, I'll go and get that tipped out, give it a flush, and we'll see what we've got. Right, I'm back. I'll get rid of those. Unfortunately, obviously I took the bung out that covers where the fuel tap goes, and the gasket's buggered, so I have to make a new one of those. Ready for prep B. But that's the tank all done. So what I'll do is I'll just flip the camera around, put the light on, and have a look inside. And you can see it before me. Okay, so bloody hell. Hey, you know what? That's come up pretty well, hasn't it? That was really, really rusty. I mean, sure enough, yeah, there's still a little tiny bit in there, but bloody hell, this is a really old tank. It's like 30 odd years old. Wow, inside of that tank's really good, isn't it? It's come up really well. So I'm going to make that gasket, and then we can crack on with tank prep B. Okay, gasket's installed, we're ready to go. So it says here, in a well ventilated area, immediately rinse the tank interior with full strength tank prep B. Well, this wasn't immediate because I had a gasket to make. And agitate to ensure thorough treatment. This final rinse will remove any residual water and will prime and condition the tank ready for the Kreem fuel tank liner. Super. Once that's done and you swirl it around, it says to drain it off using a funnel and put it back in its original container because you can use it again. Maybe one day. Okay, let's do that. Don't forget your safety gear. Nasty stuff. Right, here goes nothing. Whoa, this stuff stinks. Oh, spilled some. Okay, give that a bit of a shake. Well, swill, not a shake so much. That's what they said, wasn't it? Oh, good to know the tank leaks. The tank cap leaks. Wow, I smelled that smell before actually. Whoa, that's not doing the paint any good, is it? Look at that. Oh, we've got a bend. Well, I reckon it's a pretty good swirl round. Right, let's drain it out. Jeez, this stuff really stinks. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area, won't you? Oh, we've got some more bits out. Oh, nasty. Right, tank prep B is in and swilled and back out the tank. Oh, and it's flammable too, so no smoking while you're doing that one. Okay, next job. We're now ready to seal our tank with the Kreem fuel tank liner. Cutting your tank. Kreem fuel tank liner is designed for use as a preventative maintenance product. Da, 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 da. You can read all that later on. Caution, yeah, read all that stuff. It's not meant for plastic fuel tanks. It's not meant for fiberglass tanks. It's only meant for metal fuel tanks. To obtain proper adhesion inside the surfaces, tank must be frozen. That. If that's all done, okay. Step 3: shake or stir the Kreem tank liner well before use. Keep container tightly closed when not in use. Well, it's going to be in use. Step 4. Really, it should be step 1, isn't it? Carefully pour Kreem tank liner into the tank, taking care not to get any on the painted surfaces. Well, I've proved I'm not very good at that. Close the spout and gently rotate the tank in all directions to coat the entire surface. Well, we know that the fuel tank cap leaks, so I might have to put maybe a plastic bag over the threads when I put that in, because I don't want this stuff on the paint. I think we've got away with it so far. Okay, when all surfaces have been completely coated, there should be a generous excess left in the tank. Let the tank stand for 8 to 10 minutes with the spout open. Close the spout and slowly rotate the tank to recoat all surfaces again. Let the tank stand on a different side for an additional 10 minutes with, again, the spout open. Repeat this process until the tank has the desired coating. So basically, the longer you do it and the more processes you do, the thicker the coating you're going to get. When you've got fed up with doing that, then using a funnel, drain off the excess, blah blah blah. Remove all stops and allow to dry in well-ventilated area for at least 24 hours. A nozzle from a low-pressure air compressor blowing lightly into the fuel spout and out another opening will greatly reduce setup time. Well, I'm not bothered about setup time as regards drying off, because I'm not going to fit this tank until the weekend, so I don't need to worry about that bit. Okay, steaming up. Okay, I need a plastic bag. Okay, big finale. This is the stuff we've been waiting for, the Kreem, the actual fuel tank liner. So there's quite a bit in there. This is quite a rusty tank. It's probably never going to get any love again in the future, so I'll do one process with you on camera, and then we'll leave it for 10 minutes, and then I'll just keep repeating the process until basically the tank is lined with a nice good thick layer of this liner. Okay, here we go. Oh, don't forget your eye protection, really important on this one. There we go. Okay, now don't forget to give it a really good shake. It says even sometimes a stir. Well, my arm's hurting now, so that must be enough. Okay, so we've got to pour it all in without spilling it, hopefully. That's the plan. Or has a spider come to play? Go away, spider. Good stuff. Looks very tasty. Okay, put the cap back on for a minute. Right, so I got a bit of plastic. So hopefully that's going to help that to seal off properly. Not dribble all over the outside of the fuel tank, we don't want that. There we go. Don't need that anymore. Hopefully. Right. So we're just going to swirl the whole thing around. Try and be as methodical as possible. A lot of patience for this, isn't it? I think. Things are going pretty well. It doesn't feel as sloshy now, as if there's quite a lot of it stuck to the side of the tank, which should be good. Yeah, can't really hear anything there. Nah, okay. Right. 8 to 10 minutes with the cap off. Wow, look at that. Okay, I'll give that a bit of a clean. Oh, it's torn look as well. Need a new one. Right, I've got 8 minutes to make a new one. Right, quick sneaky peek inside. If there's anything to see. Oh, it's looking pretty good. After a few applications, that should be really good sort of layer, shouldn't it? Okay, I'm going to crack on, and I think basically I'm just going to keep repeating this process of you know, moving the tank around, unsealing the cap, leave it for 10 minutes, put the cap back on, move it around again, and I'll keep doing that until all this cream is used up, all the liquids. Basically, there's nothing else running around inside the tank, and that'll be job done, because I don't see any point in keeping any of this behind, and I think there's going to be a very small amount left anyway, so it may as well be in the tank and helping to protect what was the original plan, saving this fuel tank. Saving an XT500 fuel tank. That'd be a good title for a video, wouldn't it? Okay, so I'll leave you to it for a bit, and I'll do a final piece to camera once I've done all these applications, and we'll see how it looks. Right, see you later on. Okay, well that's all that cream tank liner now, you know, layered on the inside of the fuel tank. And in all honesty, it only took, I think, 3 separate applications. So, you know, don't shake it. It's a case of just sort of rolling the tank around, because the liquid's quite thick. It takes a while to ooze around the tank. If you just splash it, there's a good chance you're going to miss bits, and you're going to get quite an uneven thickness around the inside of the tank, I think. So I did that process 3 times, repeated it, left it for 10 minutes to stand with the cap off between each process, and basically all the liquid's been used up. That might be one of the reasons. You know, it might be due to the fact that the tank was pretty rough on the inside. You know, the metal had lots of little tiny pockets in it, so it used a lot more fluid than it would have done if it was a brand new tank. Anyway, let's have a look inside. I'll show you what it's turned out like, and then I better get to work. Okay, so that's looking down at, that's actually the brand new patch that we fitted as well, right down there, look. So that gives you an idea of exactly how it's looking, and it's pretty good. There is a little bit of a puddle down there, so I'll give it another swirl round in a few minutes just to get rid of that. It's actually surprising because that wasn't there 5 minutes ago, so it's obviously, it does pool. Yeah, there's quite a bit, look. Okay, so one more process to go. So you do need to check and make sure that there's no puddles. Because that puddle there, it won't harden up it just won't harden up because it needs to react with oxygen, and of course it's too deep for all of the liquid to get to the oxygen. So actually pretty damn chuffed with that. Actually, it's come out really well. See if you can look down there, look down the back of the tank. So again, there's a bit of a puddle down there, so it looks like I'm a bit later to work today. And it's covered the sort of the bridge of the tank pretty well, actually. I was a bit concerned about getting material on there. So there you go. That's basically how to install that original Kreem fuel tank liner kit. Pretty good stuff, actually. Obviously, proof is going to be in the pudding, but you know, considering the condition of that fuel tank when we first started this job, you know, okay, I had to weld some plates in there as well. I think we've given this fuel tank the best possible chance of having a new life and doing what he needs to do on his bike, because without this fuel tank he's stuffed, you know. Anyway, hope you found the video helpful. Hopefully I've also, you know, given you an insight into what's available out on the market. Just Google it, you'll find it. A local supplier, any motorcycle shop should be able to order it. This stuff is actually from, I did see a, hang on, here we go, look, it's, well, put it to camera, why not? There you go, that's the actual company there, look. So Kreem Products, and that's PO Box 399, Somis, pronounced it wrong probably, California, 93066 USA. Their phone number is 805-386-4470. It's got a fax number, but nobody uses fax anymore. And if you can't find a supplier, contact them and they should be able to tell you a local stockist for you. Good gear, really chuffed with it. Everybody I've spoken to has said that it's awesome stuff and it does work, which fills me with confidence on this particular fuel tank, because it was pretty bad, wasn't it? Okay crew, my name is Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitec in Auckland, New Zealand, and you've been watching my Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, if you'd like to subscribe, then click on the subscribe icon. You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click on that, and then you can tick to turn on notifications. If you're using your smartphone, I notice now there's a little bell symbol. You can just do it just with one tap. Click on the bell symbol, and you'll see it get these little sort of shaky things, little lines around it you see in the cartoons, and that basically means that you get the same thing. You'll get notifications sent through by our friends down at YouTube as and when I upload any new videos. And there's 2 or 3 every week, hopefully. When I'm not teaching, then there's a lot more, but it does slow down a bit during the teaching time. I'm going to be doing brakes course first, so there should be some more brakes videos coming up on the channel soon. Things like brake proportioning valves, other stuff, no idea what. We'll find out. Find out what I haven't done yet, and I'll fill some gaps. Now then, you'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals. However, I would ask, use the comments on YouTube as your first point of contact, because that's where the videos are stored. It's much easier for people to see your question, see the answer I've given you, because that might also answer their question too, and that way they don't have to wait for me to get back to them. Sometimes I'm pretty quick, sometimes I'm just too busy and I can't, I can see it come through on my phone, but I just don't have time on the same day sometimes to get back. If I have missed somebody out and I haven't responded to a particular comment, then please just ask again, remind me, and I'll get back to you. It's not that I'm ignoring you, it's just that I've forgotten, I've got distracted doing something else. Okay, crew, and see you next time. Cheers. Over and out.